Hey, Sunny here. Today I want to talk about a very important concept of learning how to play guitar. Is a very popular thing called CAGED system. Is capitalized letters CAGED, CAGED system. The reason why is caged because every letter represent a shape of a chord. So C is a C-shaped chord, A shape, G, E, D, D is a D shape, etc. And those are movable chords. So once you learn one shape, you can move up and down. Now, more importantly, a lot of people talk about the chords itself, but more importantly, is a very important system to learn to improvise. Uh, Based on from all the years I've been playing, one of the biggest mistakes I made when I first started playing was to learn scales instead of chords. And I am a complete firm believer right now. If you want to learn how to play guitar, first thing you should learn are chords, because every songs are made up of chords. And when you improvise over a chord progression, you have to know what you're playing over in order to move your stuff around. So again, it's extremely important to learn how to play chords. And one thing about this cage system is that once you learn those movable chords, you can actually connect. You can play the same chords in different position, and then that's the first. That's the first thing you need to learn how to in order to improvise. So, for example, quickly, let me give an example before we dive into talking about the chord shapes. So let's just say you play a chord, a C chord. All right, you want to play C chord. Now, based on the cage system, there's 5 different ways you can play the C chord. You can play the C chord as a C shape, or you can play the A shape chord, play it as a C chord, or the G shape chord as a C chord, or the E shape chord, or the D shape chord as a C chord. So to demonstrate, so the regular C chord is like this. That's just open C chord. And I'll go over all the chords once we finish talking about this. I just want to demonstrate for you first. Now the second one is the A chord, the A shaped chord. The A shaped chord is right. If you do the A chords like that, now if you move it up down, you play the C chord like that. So you're playing the C chord at an A shape. So basically that's a bar chord, but it's A shaped because it's in the shape of the A open chord. Just move up 2 frets. I'm sorry, 3 frets. Okay, now the G chord. Now you know the G. If you know the G chord, open chord is like that. To play it in the context of the C chord, you have to find the root note of the C, which is the 8th fret on the low E string. So you got to play the C chord on this position right here. But clearly you cannot. There's no open strings right here. You have to bar it. But it's difficult for your hands to bar like that. So you gotta map it out with your hands. So far we have C shape, A shape C chord, and then if you want to break it up, you can play G shaped C chord, and then you have the E shaped C chord, which is right here. That's basically a bar chord. The last one is the D shaped chord. The D shaped chord is right here. See, all this is a C chord. So you got C, and back to the C shaped octave higher. So now if you know those 5 chords, those 5 shapes, you just play the C chords up and down. So somebody can strum a C chord. And if you're improvising, you can just play the C up here. And we'll move up the C chord to inversion to a D shaped chord. So you see, so that's the first thing you want to learn. You don't have to play all these other notes. The most important thing is to learn how to play the notes within the chord. So in this case, we just do it in the key of C. So that's the background behind it. So it's very important to learn the CAGED system, so you can learn the different shapes of chord, and you add it to your. Basically, that's the essential, basic improvisation skills to play the chords differently. And once you add pentatonic scale to it, the blues scale, your door just blew wide open in terms of improvisation. So let's take the C chord. See, I was just playing a pentatonic scale, A minor, over the C chord, along with all the C-shaped chord playing different position. So let's get right into it. Okay, the first shape of the chord, let's do it in order. So CAGED system. So the first shape is the C shape. So the C open chord. To name the chords out for you is A3, D2, open G, B1, and an open E string. You don't play the last. You don't play the low E string. You only start from the A string down. So that's the C chord. Now, if you want to play the, let's just say if you want to play the D chord in the C shape. This is the root note, by the way. The third fret of A is a root note, so this is a C note. Now, if you want to play the D chord using that shape, you have to move up 2 frets. Now, because the open string is no longer open string once you shift up, the open G string now becomes the second fret of G string. And the first fret of B is now the third fret of B because you move up 2 frets. And the open high E string is no longer that. In order to play in the D chord, you have to move 2 frets up like the rest of the strings. So now it's the second fret of high E. So now, if you want to play the C shape in the D chord, that's what we just did here. Now you're probably saying, well, that's kind of awkward to do. Yeah, maybe, but this is a very useful technique to play arpeggio. It also covers, while this is a C shape chord, it's also a D shape combined because the bottom 3 notes is a D shape chord. I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but this D open chord is part of the C shape chord, playing as a D chord. Hopefully I'm not confusing you. It's just a combination of the two. While the next one is the A shape chord. If you want to play the D chord using the A shape, would be this. Because an open A chord is open A string, second fret D, G, and B string together, and then the open high E string as well. So it's open A, D2, G2, B2, open high E. Now, if you want to play a D chord using the A shape, the root note is on the open A string. So you got to move that up. Now, I've just kind of visualized my open strings. If you move up, it becomes this bar and up here like that. So visualize you have a finger behind holding those strings because it's open string. So you move up, and you got your D chord using the A shape. That's basically a power chord. If you want to add the last string to it, usually I don't play the last string, but you can break it up. When you break the chord up into sections, you can play the last 3 strings of the chord. So now if you move back down 2 frets, it's an A shape but playing the C chord. So you got C, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. So it's a movable chord. All right. The same thing. Let's go back. The C shape chord. Same thing. You can move that up. D. Move up D sharp. E. E sharp. That's F. I'm sorry. F. F sharp. And it just goes up and like that. So we covered just two. Now we cover 2 shapes. We have the C and the A. The next one is the G shaped chord. For the G shaped chord, the G open chord is like this. There's 2 ways to play it. One way is E3, A2, open D, open G, open B, and 3rd fret of high E. Or you can actually place the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. That's also a G chord. I like that G chord better. Actually, this is the way I play my G chord. I just add an extra ring finger on the 3rd fret. Now, if you take that shape, the root note is the bottom, is the first note on the chord, which is the 3rd fret of low E. So that's your G note. Now, if you want to play, if you take that shape, you move up to 2 fret. So that's an A note at the 5th fret of the low E string. So you're playing the A chord using the G shape. Now remember, when you move up like that, the open string, you gotta visualize the open strings also move up. So move up 2 frets. You gotta move the open string up to 2 frets. So basically, you gotta play the A G shaped chord and having this bar in the strings on the 2nd fret of D, G, and B. All right. Now, obviously, you cannot play that with your hand fingers like that because you can't cover like the 2nd fret. So what we do is just similar to what we do with the C chord. That's also an arpeggio. That's a G major arpeggio. Now, similar to what we talked about before, you put the ring finger on the 3rd fret. It's still a C chord, so you can go. So this is an A chord, breaking it up. So you got the E5, A4, D2, G2, B5, E5. Now again, this is a shiftable chord. So A right here, move up 2 fret would be B, C. So my finger doesn't change; it's just moving up. C sharp, D, D sharp. So that's another chord. That's a G-shaped chord. All right, the next one is the E-shaped chord. Open E chord is open E string, 2nd fret of A, 2nd fret of D, 1st fret of G, open B, and open E. Now, if you take that same chord again, you gotta visualize. Let's just say visualize your open string right here. If you want to move the whole thing 1 fret up, basically what you have is an F bar chord at the 1st fret position. So now we have E1, B, A3, D3, G2, and you index finger barring down on the 1st fret of B string and high E string. If you want to break it up, you just play the first 3 note, which is the power chord of F. By the way, the 1st fret is your root note. So this is the low E string 1st fret is F. So this is the F chord using an E shape. If you break that up, you can play the last 4 string, the bottom 4 string. it's still F chord. Now, like I said, it's a shiftable chord, so 2 frets up, using the same finger as a G chord. If you move 1 fret higher, it's G sharp, A major, A sharp major, B, C, C sharp, D. You just keep moving up like that. So that's the E shaped chord. The last one is the D shaped chord. The D chord is open D string, 2nd fret of G, B3, high E2 string. Now, if you notice that if I move down, if I move this down one fret, I should move down 2 fret. Now, you can visualize that my finger, if I'm playing a D-shaped chord right here, let's move down 2 frets. If you visualize my fingers is playing the open string, obviously I'm not playing it because it's open string. But if you visualize that, you have open G, 1st fret of B, and open high E string. That's basically the bottom part of the C sharp, the C-shaped chord. Right? So what that tells us is that the ring finger on the B string is the root note. So because my 1st fret on the B string is a C note, so I'm playing a D-shaped chord, but I'm playing the C chord. Now, again, the D chord positions all like that, open D chord. If you move it up, you just play the bottom 3 string. The move up 2 fret would be E. Again, the B string 5th fret is an E note. That's a root note. Move up 1 fret, F. That's an F chord. You're playing the D shape. F sharp, G, G sharp, you just move it up, A sharp, B, back to C, an octave higher. All right. Now you're saying that, well, you don't have to play the bottom note. You can also play this power chord right here like that. That's also still an D shaped chord. So you're playing a power chord. So let's just play this chord right here. Your pinky on the B string is still your root note. So if my pinky right now, if you think about it, what I'm playing, the chord I'm playing here is a G chord. Because my pinky is on the G note, and I have the D5, D5, G7, and B8. That's a G chord. That's also part of the D shape. Now, because you remember the D chord, you have an open D string. That string, visualize, you got to move that string up too. So anywhere you play, you have this D string, you have that little finger, you have the finger bar and behind it, right? So at this position, you got the D chord, you got a G chord using the D shape. So those are the 5 shapes. Now you can also add a minor element to it. So the A, for example, the A open chord, A major. If you play A minor open chord, the A minor open chord is open A string, 2nd fret D, 2nd fret of G, B1, and open E string. If you move that up, 2 fret would be a C minor, D minor, 2 frets up, E, again is a movable chord. And the same thing with the D major open chord. You play a D minor open chord, You basically play the bottom three notes. So you play the same finger, you're just moving up the chords, and it changes the name of the chord, but you're still using the same shape for that. Same thing with the E major open chord. You play the E minor open chord, just lift up your index finger. So now you're playing open E string, second fret of A and D, and open G, B, and E. Now if we move that up two frets, or just one fret, it's an F minor bar chord. 2 fret up, G, A minor, B, C, C minor, B minor, C minor. And just move it up and down, it's the same chord. So that's the CAGED system. Go back to what we talked about before. We used the C chord as an example. You can do the same thing. So let's just say if you want to play E chord using those 5 shapes. You got an E chord, E open chord, right? How do I play the E chord using the C shape? Well, the C shaped root note is on the second string, the A string. So the first finger, this is the E, this is the root note, this is the E note. So that would be an A shape at the C position. Now, if you play this, use behind it, that's a C shape, but they're playing as an E chord. So now you got E, you got E as a C shape, E as an A chord. I'm sorry, E chord as an A shape chord. And then you have the E as a G shape chord. Because the root note at the bottom, the 12th fret on the low E string is an E. And E as a D chord. That would be right here. Which is the bottom part of your C chord. So now we just covered E, C shape, E, A shape, E, G shape, and then E, of course, E shape, and then D shape. So you can play that. Oh, and you also play the octave, the E shaped chord right here, open chord. You play an octave higher, you got your E shaped bar chord. I'll break it up in the last 4th string of the chord. So that's the CAGED system. Thanks for watching.